I'm Brian Mershon. This is TAS 3210, my video presentation. Um, we're supposed to address what is the impact of research on society. Research can change the world. I know that's a broad statement, but think about antibiotic research and think about cancer research and other diseases, money, economic research, educational research. These things have changed the world and can future change the world. Research can help solve complex problems. Again, I address like financial issues or educational issues, studies of people, studies of animal behavior, effects of certain drugs on diseases. Research can boost productivity. I'm a custodial manager, and there's a lot of research out there about how proper cleaning can boost productivity. So I use that workloading my buildings, the data that has been researched for years, to time study my people and correctly workload them or distribute the amount of work that I know they can do based off of research. Research can help save and earn people money. So you can research has studied shopping habits and just like I said with the productivity, there's right now Google and Siri and Alexa. Alexa's in a Walmart system somewhere that's taking pictures of meat, knowing when to order, placing a meat in the proper place because it's a higher picked place so it can save money. It's just crazy technology. And research can also awaken awareness. And what that means is just like microplastics. My research project was on microplastics. I wasn't aware that this problem existed. So now that I know it, it's kind of like I can't lose it. I can't unforget what I've seen or read. So there's an awareness within me, and anybody that sees my research project will hopefully it'll awaken awareness amongst them. What was my ability to engage in the process? Well, I went to the library. I spent hours and hours reading articles, trying to find articles. Of course, the librarian aides, they were very helpful. Did I mention I read a lot? I really read a lot. Then the computer and technology, again, it's helpful. So I combed through website after website. I had to check for validity and reliability, and you just don't pick any website. You look at bias-based websites, you rule those out. It was difficult finding the original sources. I think that was the trickiest thing for me. I didn't have a lot of those. I think that research projects were a good one. I had a microfree bead law that was passed. That was one. I think that was the hardest process that I found. It was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. I work full time, and this was a stressful project. I was very thankful for my grade, and it wasn't a great grade, but I think I was relieved that okay, I can pass this class now. So I don't really want to be a researcher. I've realized that, but it's okay. On a side note, Alden Library is a beautiful resource. If you've never been there, you should go. It's really neat, and it's a nice place to get some resources. So my literature review, microplastics are here. What are microplastics? Plastics that are 5 millimeters or less in size. So some sources of the microplastics. You've got, of course, trash. Plastic bottles over time break down with the wave action and the ultraviolet light that make them brittle. They shed into smaller pieces. Clothing in your wash, there are certain clothing that really shed a lot. Polyesters. Nurdles are these pieces of plastic used in the industry world. Micro beads, if you've seen face washes or whitening toothpastes, those are micro beads. So all these microplastics get into our water system. They're small enough to go through our current filtration systems, and they enter us. So I guess that's the concern. Plastics break down, fibers shed. Sorry about that. Microbeads. So where can microplastics be found? In our drinking water, both in the tap water and bottled water. How about the Earth's waters? So we've got oceans and seas, lakes and rivers, and creeks and ponds. Anywhere there's pollution, there could be microplastics. There was a research article that I read during my research or my literature review, and it was talking about in a pristine mountain range at this lake, in the Alps, that contained microplastics. They didn't understand how they got there, and they realized they traveled from France, in the air, the wind, and the rain would blow down, and they landed in the water. So there's not a lot of waters that are safe and free of microplastic, which is concerning. Microplastics can also be found in the Earth's soil. There's been studies on certain types of worms that eat microplastics. It was crazy. They're found in animals. This is a picture of a whale. Of course, that's probably a pretty good exaggeration of plastics in there, but microplastics are consumed by animals, anywhere from shrimp, oysters, fish, chickens, and they end up on our plate. We eat these animals, some of these animals. So the salt in they gather salt from the ocean to make beer, and that has microplastics in it. So the humans have the plastic, and it turns into microplastics, which go into us. So that brings us to, in our bodies, in human bodies, that microplastics have been found. And that's scary. That's a scary thought for me, because plastics, they absorb toxins and poisons, and we're putting that into us, and that has to have some sort of effect on us, mentally, physically, both. So if I were to continue my research in this field, I would ask, how can I stop or reduce the amount of microplastics I'm consuming? I was very alarmed at the thought that I could eat microplastics, or that I'm consuming, breathing them in. I would go about investigating ways to stop and decrease the amounts of microplastics I consume on a daily basis by investigating the types of foods and liquids I ingest each day, so I can limit the microplastic intake. And that means maybe there's a label on my bottle that'll say, hey, microplastic free. Now this one says purified by reverse osmosis. I don't really know what that means. Is the plastic in the cap, when they put it on, that sheds microplastics? So I think through my research, I'm hoping to find ways that I can really reduce the amounts that I'm taking in. And if I can do that, then I can share it with others, and that'll also help them not consume microplastics. So that's it. I enjoyed the class. It was stressful, but I think I did learn a lot. I learned the true meaning of trying to validate a source and credibility. I learned that you don't just take something for granted. You got to really research and look into it. So thank you for that, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. Thank you.